Hello everybody, and welcome back to the... what's the game called? The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. For some reason, OBS is kinda crapping itself, so... Oh, did I freeze? Yeah? Yeah, I don't know why, but OBS is crapping itself. Audio's not being recorded through my capture card anymore. So I have to record from, like, ambient noise via my mic. Hopefully it is not too terrible. I'm running at, like, 2 frames per second, apparently, after starting recording. I really don't understand what's going on today. OBS is kinda... yeah, it's kinda started crapping itself. Like, it was... the preview was running fine before I was recording, but now it's really lagging. Don't really have that smooth motion here. All right, let's get back to it then. The victim's death. I'm gonna turn down the volume.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway.
That is the most captivating and beautiful testimony. That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Yes, we are complete apes. Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming language. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone.
Not at all. Not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen.
Huh? Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear? Oh, do you see that lip quiver? Maybe not, with how choppy the stream is. Yes, Your Excellency. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. The victim's death. Fair. Okay. Let's just press each of these one at a time. I'm not really sure where I should go with this. But his hands was on the searing hot plate for at least 3 whole seconds. You can't not have noticed.
Do you think so? Let me ask you something.
Sorry?
Ever since I arrived at this courtroom, and even still now, the fly on those unsightly black trousers of yours has been wide open. You can't not have noticed, can you?
Huh? What?
What fun. You hadn't realized.
The dear lady is absolutely right. As your friend, you've embarrassed me as well as yourself, Ryunosuke.
Why didn't you tell me? Dr. Wilson was a true English gentleman. He chose honorable silence over a vulgar scream. Can your tiny brain imagine such a thing?
Oh yes! I think my tiny brain can! Yes!
Well, I can't.
Anyway. When the waiter
Yes!
As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water, is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although...
Although?
Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table. I'm afraid I don't remember that. Damn you.
Ah! I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit...
Okay.
For the benefit of the others in the court, it means, bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite.
Anyway.
Okay. Oops.
Yes!
Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhaging from ballistic trauma.
Yes.
Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there was no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been from the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense.
The burn must have happened straight away, when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter.
Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make it burn like that.
And if the victims burnt his wrist on a hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, they must have already been dead at that point.
Objection! And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence that to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Ugh.
Yes.
Without leaving a trace? If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however, a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosonaga?
As I've said, I've always aimed for a flawless investigation. There were physical traces. There would be physical traces with all those causes of death. That's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it?
Oh no, perish this thought! Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question? On my honor, I, Takusuchi Ouchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. And did I freeze?
We need some evidence to back us up here.
Yes, evidence.
Yes!
Inferior? What do you mean by that?
In the land of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident.
Exactly. Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to you, your naive detectives, to try to preserve your crime scene. Trying to be as tactful as I can about this as I can. You understand.
Ah, haha, a killer blow. The lady is as formidable as she is beautiful.
Amazing.
Amazing. He's actually admitting our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchi is finally starting to see some sense.
I very much doubt that.
Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right.
What do you think, Ryunosuke?
I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information.
Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over.
But that would mean I would have to find a way. Excuse me. Oh god. Oh. Oh god. Double sneeze.
Man, I can't imagine how terrible the stream's gonna be. I am like running at like 2 frames per second.
There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor.
Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke?
There's one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me.
Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett?
Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga.
The detective?
Yes. He seems to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If I present an opening, maybe.
Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on the last statement one more time.
If you think so, but
this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, let's see what we can get out of the detective.
Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma is thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.
Yes.
Okay, read that.
Wait.
Did I miss it?
Oh, yes! There it is again! The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why?
Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective was just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity.
What do you mean?
When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you find they often let their guard down.
You're right. Look at him. He's lost in his own thoughts.
It's time to pursue the man and his train of thought.
Sorry? Pursue?
I'll explain how to do it now, Rinosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker.
What marker?
At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett, who's the person actually making the current statement. But by moving the marker left and right with the D-pad, you can turn your attention to other people in the stand. While you're looking at the other witness, you'll be able to pursue them with A. If you catch that person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around.
Alright then. So first I should move the marker across the D-pad and focus on the detective. Then pursue him with A and see what's on his mind. Here we go.
Wait.
I can't. Okay, that took way too long.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Yeah. What the? What means?
So sorry. I didn't mean to shock you.
He really was lost in his thoughts. Deeply.
It looked like you were thinking about something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? If there's something you'd like to say, please, share it with the court.
Objection!
What's the meaning of this? It's a delightful Englishwoman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness.
Yes, not to mention the fact that he's intimately involved in the case.
Inspector Hosonaga.
Yes?
Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett?
Well, yes. If you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain, which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless.
What do you really mean by that?
I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done.
A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there.
Take this, for example.
Is that?
This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day, our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming. I guarantee it.
I can't say I condone the witnesses' actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence.
The carbonated bottle of water has been entered into court record. The carbonated water the victim and Miss Brett shared on the day of the murder. It was on the victim's table.
Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death?
Yes, it was that bottle.
What was that about?
She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question.
Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination. And the inspector will kindly control his fervor.
Okay, let's see. It's probably this.
She's right, egging us on. Come on, give me. Okay, nope. Can't think, nothing out of place.
So this is the carbonated water. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had.
It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now.
You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched.
I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence.
Oh no,
you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke, in more ways than one.
I wonder, could there be anything in this water?
What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden.
I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility.
The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water.
Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking.
Then go to France and ask.
You could just say you don't know.
Okay, so that looks like that's it. Do I present it?
Yes!
Yes, I do. What's this? A bottle of water? Why, I've never seen it in my life.
Actually,
There is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison.
Poison?
On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you!
Objection! This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence! You little rookie imbecile! Have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now? Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
Objection!
This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth.
Ahem, if I may.
I will silence you forever!
It is you who should be silent.
Of course! Dear lady!
Where did that come from?
She just snapped.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
I'm sorry, my lady. To what are you referring?
I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, whether it contained poison or not.
Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principles is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time.
I don't believe it.
Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents.
And? What did you find, Inspector?
I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. We could find no traces of poison in any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself.
No.
No!
I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
I was so sure. This can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think the cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted, a shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Brett.
Oh no, I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point?
Kazuma?
I'm sorry, Rinosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you excuse me now, I must really be leaving.
Yamato Nadeshiko.
Please, wait! Isn't that...
What's the meaning of this?
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Mikotoba?
In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in furoshiki cloth.
To be continued? This is a three-parter? The first case is a three-parter? Damn, they really... Man, I thought this was gonna be like the training wheel course, but this is like lasting a real long time. 22nd November, 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why the sudden ingress into my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant and a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I asked only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense.
Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency!
Most grateful. I am most grateful.
Man, this bench is getting crowded. Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something. Written in English.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The Englishwoman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she?
So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on the human subjects. Interesting. Curare? Curare? What's that? I've never heard of that word before.
Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record. I keep wanting to say courtroom. I don't know why. A report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at Yume University.
Goodbye then, and good luck.
She was a ghost the whole time, my god. You've had long enough, Counsel. You cannot detain our English guests any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance.
Yes, I know.
Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not very long until tea time. I must decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't very clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however. I must ask you to treat it as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? Synopsis. A poison made from the bark of a certain tree in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Special characteristics. Effects. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when poison enters the body through a wound, such as inflicted by a blow dart pipe. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that this toxin could have application as an anesthesia. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett. We understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research. Research, by pure coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection! What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done. What? You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean, you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means, no matter what test the police can do for toxins, they never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order! 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 Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report, authorized by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection! Trumpery! Those aspersions are utterly trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been administered some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain. The other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that.
I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain.
According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But in a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effect could go largely unnoticed.
But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison causes instant death.
The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail.
Respiration?
In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into sleep, an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection! This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto to unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense.
Ahem, if I may.
All these facts. You think you're so clever.
It is you who must be taught.
Of course. Dear lady!
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it?
What?
You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection! Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea that some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
Ha 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 ha.
What's so funny?
Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not? She's gonna check it. The poison was in the glass that she took. Impressive.
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is rather farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics is laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers.
Wait, what are you doing?
No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. The ball was clean. Is that what you're saying?
Ha 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 ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We're most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been some poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water contains no poison, for it was the glass. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes, your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes, is in need of a good straining. Until it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Outstanding. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? The harshness of life? Really? I thought it was just a cheap thing. So the godless ending. Okay. That was a godless ending to a promising line of inquiry, Council, for which you will be penalized. Ugh. Oh man, I thought it was in the glass. This whole trial is poisoned. There has to have been poison in that bottle. Doesn't there? But there can't have been. Because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Well, there was my line of thought. Okay. The culprit did put curate poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Objection! Fool! Are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw.
Miss Brett drinking water from it?
That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained.
How, exactly?
I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly deadly poisoned water unscathed? The open wound! Oh, of course! You can digest it, but you can't get it in the bloodstream. Because it gets filtered by the liver. Of course! Ah, man, I'm stupid.
Yes!
Oh. It seems that the defense, or should I say, the wretched accused, is the only real source of complication in this case. You have to think harder than that, defendant. Sorry, Your Excellency. I'll try to find some better supporting evidence. You're making this complication more complicated than it needs to be. Alright, I'll do my best to find the answer that fits the facts. If the defense, the wretched accused, truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask... Okay, let's put on a save. I guess it's a handbag then?
Yes.
Nope, not the handbag. Is it this?
Yes.
No. Huh. I thought it would be the dental work because that's an open wound. Do I just do the report again? Okay. The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation.
No.
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato's note. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in entirety by the court. You will have to direct us to the Permanent Section Council. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? Shit, which one was it? Okay, special characteristics, yeah. Also, this is like 3 paragraphs. You guys can read fine. We've been hearing a lot about this curate poison. And it left me curious about something. Oh, Council? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes? And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean that there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because they'd be eating poison. Goodness gracious, Council! No! That would be madness! But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts working after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poison effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little...
Oh my god, that's the real swan.
rapscallion!
Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric sucus.
Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric trick suckers? What are they?
So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, Would he?
Ah. That's right.
Looks like I was just one step ahead. Good gracious!
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that.
What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all those discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett.
How dare you use that tone with me?
You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though you both you and the victim swallow the same poison. You're alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide a compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare?
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had tooth extracted, for example. Ugh. Ah! Ugh! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
Ah.
So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she? Laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are so puerile.
What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No!
I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
No! Isn't that just a admission of guilt? What is it? What just happened? It's the Englishwoman. She just smashed the bottle in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect as much of the water from the broken bottle as possible. At once.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully.
Isn't that ideal then?
You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this.
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we, if there really was poison in the bottle or not.
You.
Let us not forget. We still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for prosecution? Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right. And really, look at this photograph. It always makes me laugh. It's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using karate. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor dead in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly! And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable.
How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really gonna get away with it? The way she destroyed the evidence was obscene.
Ryunosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What?
What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there's any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing that you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell.
What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head, could there have been another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's a clue. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Haha. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then. Let's wipe that smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright. I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Wherever it could whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... I imagine just blood?
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of the steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
Wait a minute! Where are you going with...
Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in the photographic in this blah, 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 blah. Let's start this over. I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a splattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of the steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way the blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
Ah!
Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor as you were. Giselle Brett. I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving the evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. Wait, what? What sergeant? And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's been a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector! The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector! The blood man! Show the court! Of course. Examine the plate to your leisure. It's clean? How? No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may have finally reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. Let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's all over.
Ha!
Ah, man, I popped my own ears.
Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
The plate of steak has been entered into the court record. The meal Miss Brett ordered for lunch. It was removed from the victim's table after the incident.
Was the plate I saw, or I thought saw, just a figment of my imagination? Can't lift the plate. Huh? What in the world is this?
I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No. I don't mean what it is. I mean, what's it doing there?
Wait. Did you say it was a Hoei Koban?
Yes. And apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable.
This isn't the first time today there's been talk of a Hoei Koban.
I've heard about pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion before in bullion. And I don't think you ever will again.
This is extraordinary, though. This means...
I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei era too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated. It's well marinated in juices as well. Look. What? Are you thinking of eating it?
No. But the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure: my heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize.
I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ruinosuke.
A Koban coin underneath the steak. There's only one logical explanation.
This isn't the steak we're looking for. This is the steak from another table.
This is the emblem on the side of the plate.
Is it a cat? It's a cow. Most likely because the restaurant's signature dish is beef steak. It seems a lot of different restaurants have their own unique tableware.
So this is the symbol of La Carnival, is it?
Okay.
This is it now. I've lost.
Ruinosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what.
Believe in myself? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself.
As the evidence requested by the defense had not been shown in a shown to be problematic in any way. I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objections?
That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all?
That's another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Attention!
The only thing shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I would not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not be giving a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it?
Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you're alluding to. What precisely on the plate of beef steak is this new clue to be found? Okay, the same stuff we saw earlier, so let's just try to get through as fast as possible. And you can't skip this, apparently.
Got it!
That's not British. What the hell? Good gracious. That's... Koban?
What on earth?
A Hoei era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what it is, but I want no part of it.
Attention!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoei Koban just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to the Great Britain right now. He's right. This can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoei Koban just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to this case, I'll give up my lower job right now.
Attention!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here?
The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the Koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Susato Mikotoba, the real killer behind all of this. Kurio Kutaba. Kuta. Oh man, Taba, everything.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antique dealer and owner of Ryusete, Kurio Korikuta-san. Kuri?
As in Mr. Cucumber something. Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Oh, the sergeant ate it, and he wasn't. Oh, that's why they were talking about a sergeant. I completely forgot about that. Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoei era Koban, my prize coin. Then, this Hoei era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Attention!
No. Please, why would Korikuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korikuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. Yeah, let's get crowded. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize it's dinner time for little baby Ido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. And when cast from this courtroom myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless withered antique. Nothing more I have to say. The sun has set on this Ryusei shop's owner's existence. That may be, Kurikuta-san. Something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Ryusei memory serves... Wow! Oh my god. He's been stabbed. Yes, that's it. That's the one. The very one. The very exact one, that is. The resplendent, splendiferous Hoei treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day.
It can't be.
As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices.
Sandwich?
Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing.
Excuse me. Could I say something?
Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga.
I mentioned this earlier in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case.
Ah, yes, that's right. The secret undercover operation.
La Carnival is a high-class Western restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau.
Wicked crimes indeed.
We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected.
So that's why you're sent in undercover, is it?
Yes. I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It would seem likely that this Koban incident is the work of the same thief.
So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at the work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korikuta-san's Koban is all too clear.
What?
What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that stole Korikuta-san's Koban and hid it under the stake?
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you. Sergeant Iyase Nosa? What? What? How? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that Koban, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, am I? You seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet? But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido's the mastermind behind all this. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son, an innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Ooh. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. Gah! Huh. Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Issei Nosa preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. Do any of you know of the extraordinary low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recent ended conflict remains in place. And I have heard that it's hard for lower ranked soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heavy with money. Every 3 days, I'd go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I enjoyed chopping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife or fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man and his Koban? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom Seavar you are. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I know too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could, on the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. This is ridiculous.
Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time.
Well, Miss Brett?
Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. May the esteemed gentleman please be excused, Your Excellency.
Indeed. The thief of the Koban was clearly perpetrated by this baby saddle sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder.
Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat is sheer nonsense of such an... The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me.
Nonsense, is it? Well, oof.
And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, that is beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Very well. Now all questions have been concerning. Oh wow, I guess keep counting. Wow. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Brett, you are free to leave.
Yes, thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day.
Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming.
Oh, no, it's just... something about Miss Brett's parting words there got me thinking. I can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. I feel as though there's a contradiction in there somewhere. Something doesn't quite add up.
If that's the case, don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard.
Sorry?
You can think later, but if you don't call out now, they'll be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett.
What is it now?
I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago.
What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Oh yeah, let me just check that steak. Can't see it in that angle. I was wondering what's going on with those cuts. They were way too curved. As if they were taken large bites out of.
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this?
Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke?
Hiding a coin underneath a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up the steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness.
Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, counsel. If Miss Brett's words truly are contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it?
Take that!
The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency, the steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
Not true. Doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural?
Unnatural? What on earth do you mean?
It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it has been eaten. I see you've noticed it too, Miss Brett.
Notice what exactly, counsel?
Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could ever even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork.
Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself.
Then take a good look at this steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined, barbaric teeth marks there. Oh. It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
But what is your actual point?
Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry.
Oh, whatever you say, dear lady.
As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer.
Of course, this will all be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rookie in his place.
I've heard enough, you irritating little spectacled samurai relic.
Of course. Dear lady!
What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She realized the catastrophic implications these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Brunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last, it's all coming together. The mysterious teeth marks in the steak that had allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I saw somehow seemed to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept those teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency.
Everything?
Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson.
Conclusive evidence? How many times have I heard that today? You wouldn't know the meaning of the phrase, typical Japanese empty threats.
How can you be so sure?
Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago.
Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought to the court before the court yet.
Hasn't been... what?
But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
That is absurd. The trial has run for several hours already. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? This can't be. I don't believe you have it.
Objection!
I don't, but there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. Very well. I have a feeling this will be my very last request of defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? Inspector Hisonaga.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hisonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on the stake with the teeth marks. Yes. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoyed chopping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korikuta-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet! I'm a superior officer! Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Attention! Affirmative, of course. I might be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox?
Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. You did switch the plates?
Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. As I said, I immediately lifted my stake and hid the coin underneath it. But then, when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I'd had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that'd be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. Oh, that's unexpected. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table.
What? You can't have. I never thought you'd do such a thing.
It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done.
Unbelievable! I'm taking this. I'm like leaning really far back in my chair right now, and seeing if the tracking still works. Because if it does, I'm gonna do this from now on. Apparently, I don't have a butt. Can't sit up straight for long. I'm a regular Hank Hill. However, fear not, Prosecutor-san. What now?
I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That's all I did, sir.
All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak and the plate it was on back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Earlier this trial, you told the court this. Can I move my mic down? It's in my way now. In this weird new position. Ooh, again. Yes, there we go. Now it's only my pop filter that's blocking my way. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had to take both.
Ah!
That's correct.
Then please,
Present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can that possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. It can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
Am I talking farther away now? No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady.
I beg your pardon.
Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why the steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you, no?
You're the ones who decided that it was a problem, not me.
The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing.
Thinks he remembers.
I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, will you show the evidence to the court? Present the beef steak and the plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. Yes, sir. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Here is the other steak and its plate. Please, feel free to examine it. The bloodstain. It's clearly visible, look!
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate. It shows that the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim.
Ugh!
it can't be.
In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Oh, my eye tracking doesn't work anymore. Kinda doesn't. It's kinda iffy. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you!
Outdone by a Japanese, me, By a Japanese schoolboy? No, no, no!
Wow, that... Oh my god, it had chicks on it. Huh. Unexpected. Did it just hatch all now, or were they just hidden in the hat?
Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me.
Well, Miss Brett, I think it's time for you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth. This time.
Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life, using curare. As you surmise, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning.
So, you planned to kill the professor knowing that no trace of the poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan.
Yes. Of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only intended to see the professor take one sip of his water, and it would be all over. I would place my steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone, and leave immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table.
That would be me, I suppose.
Yes, you. Who else? Such a trifling matter, but the fact that you decided to come over and greet the professor meant that I lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure that he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point, so I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment.
A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man.
I happened to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage.
Oh. The bang wasn't another gun. Wait, was it another gun?
I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and
it wasn't the gun. Okay.
And my own pistol concealed under my skirt.
Under your skirt?
So I was right. There were two guns.
Yes.
And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Placed where you were sure I would notice it.
And everything went according to plan. You noticed the gun as I intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up,
that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead.
Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared.
Obviously, I assumed Norohodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside.
That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around.
Because, of course, you need to make sure it looks like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he'd pick up the gun.
So, there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. It's just a prank, bro. Your Excellency,
Yes?
I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later?
I shall call on you.
Thank you. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san.
It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement?
This can't be. Takisuchi Ouchi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student.
You better start getting used to tough opposition.
Arg! Ryonosuke Naruhodo.
What? Yes?
This is an insult to the Ouchi family name. Will never be forgotten.
You become conceited with age, Counsel. But the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. It's the way of the world. May you never forget it. Huh, so the defense can have weapons too. A thousand millennia may pass, and still the Ouchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial, in the Supreme Court of Japan, will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryonosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. I thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, it's only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideals of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Asogi. Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can, absorb everything of the wider world that you're able to. And do not forget to fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why you look so grave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Ryonosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you carry that onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryonosuke Naruhodo, not guilty.
Yay!
This court is now adjourned. November, 2:46 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendant's Antechamber 5. I can't believe it. I can't believe what happened. I made it! I defended myself and made it through that horrendous trial! Ryunosuke, you finally pulled it off. Congratulations. Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Kazuma. Ha 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 ha! No. It was a pleasure to watch you work. So, you owe me an extra large sukiyaki from the place on Yume University Street. Don't forget. Good afternoon. All your hard work has certainly paid off. Oh, her.
Congratulations to both of you for proving Naruhodo-san's innocence.
Ah, our trusty judicial assistant. You worked hard for that result too, you know.
Oh no, I didn't do anything.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If we hadn't had that research report of Miss Brett's, I don't know how things would have turned out.
Your kind words should really be for my father. I was simply doing as he asked. It was his idea for me to go to the university and investigate.
Your father? Ah, yes, of course.
Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense.
Speaking of Mikotoba. Oh, there you are. I believe congratulations are in order. Naruhodo, you did an excellent job. Thank you, Professor. Oh no, it is I who should be thanking you. After all, your efforts exposed the true criminal that took the life of my good friend.
Good friend? Oh yes, you mentioned that before. It was you who actually invited Dr. Wilson to Yume University, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. Professor Mikotoba studied overseas himself. He went to study forensic medicine in Great Britain. Presumably, that's where you met Dr. Wilson? Exactly. In those days, we worked together in the same hospital.
Oh, you work together.
I've never heard you mention that before. Well, it was a long time now. Besides, it's your turn, Osogi. Great Britain is a magnificent country. It leads the world. In science, medicine, engineering, culture, and of course, in law. Watch and learn, my boy. See what happens in the world's largest melting pot. I will. I'll learn all that I can. I swear on this, the spirit of the Osogi clan. You're not taking that sword to the Great Britain, are you? Of course I am. A Japanese man's katana is the soul. This blade shows me where I need to go. And cuts down anything that's in my way. Yes, I've definitely seen how sharp it is already with my own eyes. That reminds me, what happened to that woman? To Giselle Brett, I mean, after she's guilty of murder. Ah, yes, her. It's not easy to tell you this, but... What do you mean? Surely she's going to face trial herself now. She's the true culprit after all. She'll be leaving Japan in the very near future for Shanghai. What? Shanghai? Giselle Brett will not be appearing in court again in this country. I'm certain of that. What? But why not? It's a matter of consular jurisdiction. Inspector Hosonaga. It was a hard-fought battle in the courtroom today. Very impressive to watch. I must congratulate... But what's all this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then, who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case. Somewhere very far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past, now that we've signed the friendship treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes. She's a student, but that doesn't justify our government's making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Something strange is going on. Huh. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. I don't believe it. The British government's foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They're obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make a change. This is a time of great turmoil. This new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we're the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor, you're right. There's no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? As the head waiter, I would be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about the details for now. To La Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course! La Carnival's food is second to none!
I shall go attend to the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. I'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson.
Really makes you wonder. Kazuma.
Yes, Ryunosuke?
I just want to say thanks again. That's all. You really saved my skin today.
Ha 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 ha! I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer here, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. Your skills made the difference, though.
Oh, your skills made a difference, though. One day, I bet you'll be the best lawyer in the world.
I'm not so sure about that. To be honest, something kept occurring to me over and over again during the trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become the great lawyer, not me.
What? Come on. Be serious.
If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean.
Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you.
That's the point.
Sorry? What do you mean? That's the point.
Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win?
Knowledge of the law?
No. The ability to believe.
To believe? To believe what?
A defense lawyer has the right to fight for his client.
Has to fight for his clients.
He has to believe in them at all times.
Like you believed in me when I said I didn't do it?
I'm human, just like you. I don't have superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you choose to believe in, even then, well, that's not something anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person.
Believing in your client.
Just look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience. But you never stopped believing in me.
Well,
You face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. And in the end, you found it. Through your own efforts. And because you never stopped believing in me.
Thanks, Kazuma.
There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryunosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me.
It sounds serious. What is... You're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rack shells for us. Let's go.
Thank you. We'll be right there. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory.
And your study tour to Great Britain, don't forget.
Ah, yes, that too.
So my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma. Professor Mikotoba. Susato-san, who acted as my assistant. Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. He gives the evidence, man. That's kind of rude. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through the trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't managed to ask this favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. And that should be the end of that.
And then episode 2. Wait, can I just choose any episode? Oh wow, I can. Wow, we have free range. That's weird. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it a day due to how scuffed OBS is being. Ah, boy. Sorry for the chair noises. So, yeah, I'm going to try to figure out what the heck is going on with my computer. Or at least what's going on with this user account. Because it's constantly trying to load something. I don't know why. So, thank you everyone who joined me today. And I apologize for the very scuffed stream. Hopefully I get this fixed before tomorrow. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.